Welcome to this week's episode of In-Depth Outdoors. Each week, the In-Depth Outdoors staff will take you to North America's top ice fishing destination, where we'll fish longer, go further off the beaten path, uncover untapped fisheries in your backyard, and punch more holes in search of the biggest fish and the hottest bites. We'll share time-proven tips, introduce new lures and cutting-edge fish-catching techniques. We'll shine the spotlight on overlooked bodies of water and open eyes to underutilized species that feed aggressively and fight hard under the ice. All this with one goal in mind, to help you catch more fish and have more fun doing it. This is In-Depth Outdoors, brought to you by Lake Master, leading in accuracy, following with success. Markham high-power ice sonar. Snowsuit performance winterwear, engineered with you in mind. Otter Outdoors, get out onto the ice and into the outdoors. Custom jigs and spins, the hottest baits below the ice. Strike Master Ice Augers, introducing the Solo, the ultimate ice auger. Thorn Brothers, makers of premium quality custom rods for the ice angler.
Well, on today's episode of In-Depth Outdoors, Joel Nelson and I have the snowmobiles loaded up, and we're going to head to the Northwest Angle. We're going to take a little bit different approach on this trip than some guys might. We're going to actually snowmobile off the South Shore Lake of the Woods, cross the main basin and head up into the islands. And this is the type of show we like to do a couple times a year. Sometimes we fish bodies of water we know very well. Other times we like to broaden our horizons a little bit, get adventurous and go somewhere we've never been before. Now, I won't tell you I've never fished Lake of the Woods before. That would be completely not true. I've got a lot of time spent out here in the winter fishing near the South Shore. I have never been up into the islands, up in the Northwest Angle, and I've always wanted to do that. We're going to go outside our comfort zone and really get into a new part of Lake of the Woods that neither Joel or I have ever fished before. Now, there is just one last little detail I want to share with you that just might add some more flavor to this adventure of ours. We've got an incredible storm brewing out in the Dakotas that's headed our way, so we're not sure how much time we've got here out on Lake of the Woods. We're going to give it our best. Stick around. You're going to love this show. Oh, there we go. Oh, this one feels nice. I tell you what, it's not very often that a guy gets to fish outside, no gloves, no heavy jacket on, late December on Lake of the Woods, so I feel awful fortunate to have this opportunity to be up here chasing walleyes. Oh, and I got a good one. I got a good one. Oh, that is a nice fish there. You know, this lake produces so many big walleyes throughout the winter. Really is one of the better ice fisheries throughout the Midwest. And this is just a real typical example of what you can expect here on Lake of the Woods. Low 20-inch fish, too big to be eaten, but a heck of a lot of fun in my opinion. Just throttled that spoon. In fact, I'm gonna need my hemostat. All right, there we go. You know, you gotta love to see those real good hook sets like that. That fish was going nowhere. You know, we're talking 25 degrees today, but you still don't want to keep these fish out of the water for a long time. What happens is you can frostbite some of the fins, so we're gonna let that one go. It's late December, it's about 25 degrees today, but that still doesn't mean it's real comfortable out here in the wind without any gloves on. So I'm gonna find some gloves and get back at it. I do need another minnow, so.
There we go. This is just getting almost ridiculous. The fish are biting with such reckless abandon, and you know, it bears mentioning that we've never been here before, James and I. We fish a lot of bodies of water. We fish Lake of the Woods quite a bit, but this specific location, this part of Lake of the Woods, never been here. It's just a wonderful fishery, and for me, these are the kinds of fish that make the world go round. I love catching big walleyes. It's something that I really appreciate and something that I'm very proud about, but at the same time, these are the fish that keep me coming back for more. They keep me interested, they keep the action going. These are the day savers that really make the bite a lot of fun, gives you a lot of practice with your equipment, with your flashers, your jigging technique. It's something that will help teach you to become a better angler in a shorter amount of time because there's just so much activity. These are my kind of fish. Important to keep pressure on these big fish. I think a lot of people are under the temptation to give them plenty of line, and you need to if they want to take it, but a fish like this needs to keep the hooks in its mouth. And obviously, especially near the hole, you need to pay careful attention to what's going on and give her the time she needs, but make sure and maintain that steady pressure. Right at the hole, let her have what she needs. There we go. Oh, beautiful fish. Beautiful fish, and she has got that bait just absolutely bushwhacked. This is a fish that came right off the bottom. I'm gonna pop that baby out of there. I think I'm gonna need a forceps for this one. Popped right out, but she wasn't going anywhere, that's for sure. I tell you what, it's a fish that we've earned. We've drilled this spot out. We spent a lot of time fishing it, learning its nuances, understanding it, and hey, these are just some of the fruits of our labor. We're gonna go ahead and put this baby back. Oh, give me a kick, girl. That away. All right, now it's on to the next one. This bait, enough cannot be said. Like I said, I'm gonna start calling this the Lake of the Woods Special. At a 1/4 ounce with a smaller profile, fishes fast. It's been the hero of the trip thus far.
I think we're about to answer the question, how many fish does it take to have a really good day on the ice? You know, and what I'm looking for out of this trip, not having really any knowledge to go with up here on Lake of the Woods, particularly in this area. Come here, buddy. Every fish really counts that much more. It's very satisfying to me to be able to come up here, basic tools, you know, just a small GPS unit, take that Lake Master chip, pick the spots, the ones that look and make sense just based on, you know, fishing knowledge. Show up on these spots, do the work, punch the holes, and there's the fruits of our labors. And that one just, I mean, when you see that, when you see the entire treble where he's got the entire bait in his mouth, that's what we're looking for. I mean, that's the kind of reaction from a fish. When I see it, I know I have the perfect presentation. You know, I know we've got enough fish to eat today, so we're gonna let this guy go. Get him back in the water quick. There we go. I'll let him keep the minnow head. You know, we're getting on to the point now where we've caught dozens of these each. Pretty rare place where a guy can go, catch big fish, and then of course a bucket full, quite literally, of these very nice eater walleyes. Back you go. You know, one thing that I think all ice anglers struggle with is keeping their hands warm and dry. And earlier today, Joel and I were belly aching a little bit about, you know, how cold our hands were. And that was before we broke out our task gloves. These task gloves are a new glove from Frable, part of their FXE lineup. These are the gloves the guy's gonna wear when he's out there fishing. He still needs to have real dexterity in his fingertips, maybe work that hemostat to get that jig or spoon out of that fish's mouth, bait those hooks. They're not so cumbersome that it impedes your ability to do what you need to do. But if you need something that's lightweight, completely waterproof, I mean, I've had my hands in and out of the holes all day long, in and out of the minnow buckets. At no time has my skin ever gotten wet. Oh, there's a good fish. You know, we got this storm front coming in. We're set to see some major changes as far as the weather's concerned. And I'm anticipating these fish are gonna fire up. Ooh, here's a nice eater. You know, if a guy was looking to keep a mess of fish, that'd be about as good as it gets right there. 16, 17 inch Lake of the Woods walleye. Real good water clarity up here. They're very good to eat. You know, one of the nice things about this body of water is you got your, you can have your cake and you can eat it too, in that you got true trophy potential up here. It's very common to see 29 to 31 inch walleyes caught out here on the ice, but you also get a lot of eater walleyes like this one mixed right in, so you don't have to sacrifice one to catch the other. It's a real unique fishery in that case. I'll let that guy go. That one gets to escape the knife. You know, we're out here staying on an island. We've got the facilities to cook some fish if we wanted to, but really, I'm just out here to have a good time. So we're gonna release the fish we do catch. And I got to figure here, we got about another maybe an hour before this storm front really sets in on us. We're looking at maybe 6 to 12 inches of snow over the next 24 hours. So we've got great conditions now, but stick around. Here in the next hour or so, things are really going to change. All right. I need to get a minnow head. Joel keeps his in his bait puck. I keep mine in my shirt pocket here. The wife, you know, she doesn't mind as long as I remember to take them out of there. I'd love to tell you that I always remember, but that's not always the case. Sometimes they end up in the dryer, and my name's Mud. Anytime you're out fishing a big body of water, the ability to navigate precisely to a spot and back again is always important. But of course, on today's show, with that 30-mile snowmobile run and some pretty tough conditions predicted later on in the afternoon, the GPS unit that I've got mounted on the sled has never been more important. And that's really why I want to share this with you. This season I started using the Humminbird 385 CI. In the past, I've always used a handheld unit. The problem with a handheld unit is the screens are very small. It's okay when you're walking with the unit, but when you're trying to read that screen when you're at speed traveling on a snowmobile, trust me, it's very hard to see where you're going. So the larger screen on this 385C, it's a 3.5-inch screen, is a huge improvement in my opinion. In addition to that larger screen, one of the other real cool features of the 385 is it allows us anglers to use those Lake Master chips not only in the summer in our boats, but out here on the ice. The 385 does have the capability to play those Lake Master chips. It gives you access to all of Lake Master's higher end features, water level offset, depth level highlight. So it's really a great unit for the ice angler. And of course, this will do one thing that a handheld never can, and that is because it comes with that transducer as part of the kit. You can see it here being used out here on the ice as a GPS unit. Come summertime, plug the transducer in, mount it on your boat. You've got a great backup unit for your big boat, or if you've got a canoe or a smaller craft, this could be your primary sonar unit in the summertime. Oh, there we go. Not a giant, but I gotta tell you, some of these Eaton class fish are a wonderful distraction while we wait for a big old mama walleye to come around and pay us a visit. You know what, I said earlier that I wasn't interested in keeping a few fish? I changed my mind. That just looks too good. Just that nice 15-inch class walleye. This lake just cranks them out by the millions each year. All natural reproduction here on Lake of the Woods. Really, there's no problem with an angler keeping a limit of nice eater-sized fish like this. Do release those bigger fish, but these here, and this one in particular, destined for the pan. I'm gonna need the hemo on that one. All right, get that fish out of there. Walleye candy, custom jigs and spins slender spoon. Put that back. Just a perfect Lake of the Woods keeper. He's coming home with me. This is one of those days where the weather's going to change, and I think it's going to change in our favor. It might make moving around a little tough, but we've got that falling barometer. The incoming storm is going to be incredibly strong. This should be the perfect scenario to get these fish real active and feeding, and it just feels like this is going to be one of those days where some big things happen. This body of water is not like your typical Minnesota Mille Lacs or Leech or Winnie, where you've got very clear water conditions. In fact, what we find here is the water is very stained, and what I wanted to do was give people a real visual idea of what I'm talking about when I say stained. I've got 2 bottles of water here. Both of these were intended to be my lunch. I dumped one out, filled it with Lake of the Woods lake water, and you can really see here in my right hand how stained that water is. It's not dirty, there's not a lot of sediment in this water, but certainly it does take on that real strong tea stained color. And that's what we're basing our color pattern selection on here today. Anytime I make the trip to Lake of the Woods, my tackle box has got 4 primary colors in it. Gold, of course today with the glow, that's really been the kicker for us, and then 3 colors of glow that really seem to cover most of the bases when I'm fishing this body of water. Glow pink, glow green, glow orange. I know if I've got those 4 patterns, the 1 metallic and the 3 glows, I've pretty much got my bases covered anytime I come to Lake of the Woods.
Ooh, there's a nice little fish. Oh,
Need a hand, give me a holler.
No, I think I got this one. He's going to be one of our better eater class fish, one of those 15, 16-inch fish, I'm guessing. And right in the hole. You know, it bears bears a little bit of talking about. We've got this front coming in. That's a nice little fish. We've got this front coming in just over to our right, but at the same time, it is still midday, and these fish have still pushed off a little bit. We were fishing earlier. I was just slamming fish up in that shallower portion of this reef that we're fishing. And now, even though we've got low light, even though there's a storm front approaching and the barometer's dropping, these midday fish are still off that edge a little bit in about 20, 21, 22 feet of water. Just another great fish we're going to put back to hopefully make some more. And there it goes. Boy, this has been a great day. It's going to get even better, folks. I can tell the bite has increased. James and I are both picking up fish, and we're not having to hole hop as much anymore. I think it's a good sign of better things to come.
One of the things that Joel and I have been doing all day long is really keeping a close eye on that storm, and for most of the day it's just been a very barely visible layer of darker clouds way out on the horizon. It never seemed to really get any closer or grow. Well, that's changed here in the last half hour, 45 minutes. Things are accelerating. We can see the intensity of the storm. It's massing up and moving our direction very quickly. So what we're going to do now is we made the decision. It's time to set up the otters, get some shelter out here on the ice. We're forecast for very high winds, strong gusts, a lot of blowing snow, but we don't want to leave yet. You know, common sense dictates that, hey, right before a storm, fishing can get really good, and of course, we didn't snowmobile 30 miles to miss that.
There he is. Ah, not too shabby. A nice little fish. You know, with conditions like this, you never know which fish could be your last, so I don't know. It's a pretty good fish. And it is taking its own sweet time and coming up. That's usually a pretty good sign. Fighting well. These fish are so strong. This early ice, they're so aggressive. It seems like they almost fight harder than they do midwinter. All right, beautiful fish. Oh man, what a gorgeous fish. Just really excited to be out here fishing under these conditions. Not a lot of people get a chance to come up here, and I feel really grateful and happy that we took the time to do it. And something like this is just a reward. It's icing on the cake, especially under the conditions that we're facing today. Better fish, James.
All right.
Or maybe he just thought he was.
Maybe you thought he was.
That's been happening a lot. Oh, he's not bad.
We have caught so many fish today. Is he loose? Hey, you thought I was gonna get my hands wet, didn't you?
No, I know better by now.
Just another shining example of why we've come to Lake of the Woods. I tell you what, this is so rewarding to me to be able to come up here, fish a new area on Lake of the Woods that I've never been to and have this much success. And really, I've got to be honest with you, a lot of that credit goes to Lake Master. Phenomenal product. If you're going to come to this area, you're going to want to get yourself a Lake Master map chip for the area. I can't tell you how much confidence I have in the product, and I promise once you've used it, you're going to have some confidence too, and hopefully some fish like that to show for it. But earlier in the day, as you know, we had great conditions. Things have completely fallen apart. A couple of inches of snow. The winds are 30, 40 miles an hour now. It sounds like the otters are going to just blow right off the lake. The one thing we have in our favor now is the snow has tapered off. This is our window to get out of here. We do have a 30-mile snowmobile run to get back to the South Shore, so we do want to allow a lot of time. And with daylight fading around here about 4:45, it's time to get gone. So to everybody at home, I want to thank you for watching. From Joel and I, we'll see you next week.